Good morning, boys and girls. Mrs. Megan with you today, and welcome back to Stream Thursday. Today we're going to be reading Rosie, Revere, Engineer by Andrea Beatty and illustrated by David Roberts. But before that, Mrs. Megan's going to do a little bit of her warm-up like we would typically do if we were in a story time. So, who remembers the song Mrs. Megan always sang to start story time? If you're in my preschool class, it was good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Are we ready for some fun? Let's stand up, turn around, sit back down on the ground. Give me a great big clap, clap, clap. Put your hands in your lap, lap, lap. Okay, so that's how we usually kicked it off. And then there were some other songs we sang to start story time. We would sing our days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, then there's Saturday, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. Okay, boys and girls, so I already told you what our day of the week was today. It is Stream Thursday. And does anyone know what our number is? It's a 1 and a 3. So that is 13. And what about our month? Yes, what's our month song? January, February, March, and April, May, June, July and August, September, October, November, December. These are our months of the year. Okay, so we've already had January, February, March, and April. May is our month that we're in right now. So today is Thursday, May 13th, 2020. And now, lastly, another song we would always sing is, what's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? Is it rainy? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? So I want you guys to look outside and tell me, do you think it's rainy, sunny, cloudy? Is it hot or is it cold? Brr. So keep that in mind and then we can discuss it. So, like I said, we are doing some engineer work today, and it's called Rosie Revere, Engineer by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. Go ahead and let's get started. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. Okay, so they're in class. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late, late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. So what do you think she's going to build? Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. Oh, why do you think she hides them? When Rosie was young, she'd not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye, and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. Oh my goodness, helium pants. The uncle she loved most was Zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, of course, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. You think that would keep a python away? Let's see. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, I truly do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day kept her dreams to herself. Oh, how sad. She was discouraged. And that's how it went until one autumn day her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great Aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to the old lady's dreams. So there's great Aunt Rose. And there she was when she was younger working on airplanes. That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. How do you think she's going to make her aunt fly? Let's see. She's going to get a helicopter, build an airplane, a hot air balloon. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheesecopter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheesecopter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. So the first time it didn't look so bad. Let's see if she keeps trying. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned around to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh, no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." I think she already is a great engineer. She turned round to leave, but then great Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, and perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Did you see it? Didn't you see it? The cheesecopter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt, "it crashed. That is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that it flew." So even though it did eventually crash, it did fly a little bit. Oh, so look, she has all these great ideas being drawn. And it says, in 1784, Elizabeth Thimble became the first woman to fly in a hot air balloon. The hot air balloon was called La Scastava, a ballet monoplane similar to the one flown by Harriet Quimby, the first woman to gain a pilot's license in the United States in 1911. Lillian Todd was the first woman to design airplanes in 1906. A Curtiss JN-4 known as a Jenny, flown by Bessie Coleman in 1922. And then this is something, a plane named Friendship, flown by Amelia Earhart to traverse the Atlantic Ocean in 1928. The Lockheed Vega 5B used by Amelia Earhart to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean in 1932. And Lynn Ripley Meyer was the first woman to pilot a Boeing 747 in 1980. Look at all those different types. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next." She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rosie tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 build gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. So that was our story, Rosie Revere, Engineer. And what did she try to build? A flying machine to help her aunt. So Mrs. Megan created what she hopes is a little flying machine herself. So all I did was take a paper plate, a white balloon, a straw, cut it in half, and then duct tape to seal all the air off. So we're going to go ahead, give it a blow it up, and then see if it works. Are we ready to try it? Let's see. I pitch it like that. Let's see if it lifts off the ground at all. Do we see it moving? Oh, that time it didn't really fly high, but it did wiggle some. So maybe if we keep going. Whoop. Nope, and it still didn't fly. So we will try that again here in a minute. But first, Miss Megan has a little song called I'm a Little Airplane. And I'm a little airplane up high with the great big silver wings. Watch me fly. When the pilot tells me I'll come down, swooping and gliding to the ground. Okay, boys and girls, one last time before we go, and then we will see. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to challenge you guys to do this at home and send me the video and tell me what you guys did differently to get it to fly. Okay, let's check one more time. No, it still didn't work. So you guys help me out and be good engineers. And I will see you tomorrow for Foodie Friday. Bye, friends.